Hey guys, I hope you're ready for another really fun activity. Now, before we go on, I just want to remind you all that all these printouts are available on your copies of this week's lesson plan. So there are links to all these things that you can print out at home and make the vocabulary words and the flashcards and everything. You guys can always print those off at home and use them at home as well, however you'd like. Now, I did have to make a pond for this activity. So we're going to look at a pond. Now, who knows what a pond is? It's a small body of water. It's smaller than a lake. It's smaller than the ocean. It's smaller than the sea. It's smaller than all of those things. And ponds always, always, always have fresh water. Now, the opposite of fresh water is salt water. And if you've ever been to the beach and gotten in the water, you probably tasted the salt in the water. So ponds, they're not like that. They are made up of fresh water. This is water that does not have salt in it. There are so many kinds of animals who live near, around, in the pond. So we're going to go over various types of animals who live in this kind of environment. All right, the first one we're going to start with is a trout. Now look here. I'm sure you guys can see that picture of the trout. Does a trout live around the pond, in the pond, or near the pond in the trees? Does a trout live in the tree? No. He lives in the water, doesn't he? So we'll go ahead and give him a home right here in the pond. All right, the next one we've got here is a heron. Now, herons are really big birds. And you've probably seen them before, especially if you've spent time around the lake or any ponds. So herons, do they live in the ponds? Do they live around the ponds? Herons you can usually find around the pond, so they'll either live right around the edge of the pond or somewhere in the tall grass. So we'll go ahead and give the heron a home right here. All right, the next one we've got here is a tadpole. Now, who knows what a tadpole is? Who knows what a tadpole becomes when it grows up? Tadpoles are baby frogs. So when a tadpole gets older, it will become a frog. Now, do tadpoles live in trees? No. Where do they live? Tadpoles live in the lake. That's right. So we'll give him a little home right next to our trout friend. So there we go. There's our tadpole. Now, the way tadpoles are born, frogs come over to the pond. And I'm sorry, I called it a lake. They live in the pond. Frogs will come over to the pond and they'll lay eggs in the grass and in the reeds and in the plants in the pond. And then when the eggs hatch, out pop little tadpoles. All right, next animal is an osprey. Now, an osprey is a bird similar to a hawk, but a little different. Osprey are really fast flyers. They can fly high and fast, and they like to eat little rodents, meaning mice, voles, things like that. So, osprey, do they live in the lake? No. Osprey love high trees. They will sit up in trees, and they will look down at the ponds and lakes and the things that they see. And sorry, I called it a lake again. You'll have to remind me. It's a pond. This is our pond. I'm so sorry. I will do better. All right, we have another animal. Oh my gosh, you guys, this is one of my favorites. Turtle. A turtle. Now, where does the turtle live? Does he live in the grass? Does he live in the pond? Turtles live around the pond and in the pond, and they really, really love the rocks on the edges of the ponds because the rocks make really great hiding places. So we'll give our turtle a little home halfway in the pond, halfway out, because he'll like sitting on the rocks, getting some sunshine, hiding in the rocks, but he will also want to be able to go for a swim in the pond whenever he feels up to it. All right. Now, I'm not going to lie to you guys. This next animal freaks me out just a little bit, and that is because it's a whirligig bug. Now, These bugs are water bugs, and they are really good swimmers, which kind of scares Miss Ryan. I don't know why. So this whirligig bug lives inside the pond. They love the grass. They love the algae that's there. They love the moss, just all the cool, fun little hiding places that they have inside the pond. They love them. So that's the whirligig bug. They're freaky little guys, but they're good for the environment, and lots of birds like to eat them, and fish actually. All right, next is who knows what that guy is? It's a beaver. So beavers, do they live in the pond? They definitely like to swim, that's for sure. Do they live in the trees? Not really. Beavers like to live around ponds because their homes, which are also called dams, they build out of sticks and lumber, meaning trees. They build dams. They like to build dams right on the water. They like being able to swim underneath the water and come up into their home. So we're going to give the beaver a home also halfway in the water, halfway out, because he loves swimming and he spends a lot of time in the water. But he can walk around outside the water too and go find twigs and sticks and everything that he needs in order to survive. All right, so our next animal is a dragonfly. Now, can you guys think of where dragonflies live? These guys just fly everywhere. So there are some grasses coming up out of the pond. They like the tall grass, they like the trees, they like the water. So we're going to give our dragonfly a home right here because he's close to the water, so he can spend time on the water, around the water, but he really likes the tall grass too. And he's really good at blending in with the grass so that animals that want to eat him have a hard time finding him. Now, this is another one of Miss Ryan's favorite animals, and this is a frog. It's a frog. So a lot like a turtle, where does a frog live? In the pond, around the pond, in the trees by the pond. So this little guy really likes to live in and near the pond. He likes rocks to sit on. He likes lily pads to sit on. He likes being around the grass in the pond. He loves all those things, but he loves swimming and he spends quite a bit of time in the water as well. Okay, our next animal is a crayfish. Now, something fun about Miss Ryan, I love finding these things and putting them in buckets. Now, if you ever find a crayfish, it's okay to pick it up, but try to avoid his little pinchers, because even though he's small, he could still hurt you. So try to avoid those if you can. These guys live in the pond. They don't really come out for much. So we'll give him a home right here in the middle of the pond where he can be safe. Now, another fun fact is that these birds, herons, they love eating crayfish. They love them. And a lot of people eat crayfish too. Did you know you could eat crayfish? They put them in butter, they boil them. Oh, they're good. All right, now, these are red-winged blackbirds. These red-winged blackbirds they don't only live by the pond. They definitely like to live by the pond, but they like living anywhere where there's really tall grass. So we'll give him a home right out here, right by the tall grass. Now, if he likes to be near the tall grass, can you think of what insects are in the tall grass that he might eat? I see one on our paper actually. Dragonflies live in tall grass, so maybe red-winged blackbirds would like to eat a dragonfly once in a while. They eat mosquitoes, they eat all sorts of flies, lots of bugs that live in the tall grass. Alrighty, the next animal is, ooh guys, this is a good one too. This is a woodpecker. Now, woodpeckers are cool because they have that red spot on the back of their head, so that's how you'll know that you see a woodpecker. Where do woodpeckers live on our picture? Where should I put them? Any ideas? How about right here? Whoops. We'll put him right here in the trees. He loves, actually, we'll even put him a little bit higher. There we go. He loves the trees. So here's our little woodpecker right here. Take a look. Little woodpecker. Okay, next animal. Oh, I love these two. This is a finch. Now, this specific picture of a finch, this is a zebra finch. Now, I have a fun fact for you. If you go to any pet store, PetSmart, Petco, whatever, they will probably have zebra finches here. And you can see how little they are. They're just little birds. They're like this big. So little. See how little that is? They're about the size of my pointer finger. So they're little birds, but they make really, really, really pretty noises. And they like to eat bugs that are around the pond. So, do zebra finches live in the water? No, probably not. Do they live in the trees? Zebra finches love to fly around. They love to be able to eat lots of little buggies. So they like to be in the trees. All right, this is our last animal. And this animal is a raccoon. I don't know if you guys can see him there. Raccoons like to live around the pond because they can eat fish, they can eat crayfish, they can eat, it's sad, but they can eat birds, they can eat lots of stuff, frogs, they can eat lots of stuff around the pond. So where would a raccoon live in all of this? He doesn't live in the pond. He doesn't live super high in the trees, but he likes the grass. He likes to live around the pond. So I think we'll give him a home, maybe down here. He wanders around a little bit, but he does like coming to the pond to get water and to eat yummy bugs and lots of other animals. All right, let's take a closer look at what we've done here. And then you guys can also do this at home with your parents. Look at all our animals. They're so cool. They're so cool, and now you know where they all live, and that's very exciting. Now, some helpful tips. If you do end up printing out these pictures of animals, you can do some other fun things with them too. You can make them into categories. You can categorize them into things that live in the pond and above the pond, which is basically what we just did together. You can categorize them into 3 categories: things that swim, things that fly, and things that walk. You can categorize them into 2 categories: things with fur and things with feathers, or things without. So there could be 3 categories actually. Or you can look at each of them and categorize them based on their first letters. So things that have the same first letters, like, let's see here, turtle and trout, you can put those together. So there are quite a few things that you can do with these little flashcards that we've got here. And this was just one example to help you guys visualize where all of these animals live. I just want to thank you guys for watching. I'm excited to learn more about our planet and all the wonderful things that live here. And if you guys need help printing anything off or getting access to any resources, please reach out and let me know. Otherwise, I will look forward to our next circle time, and I'll see you later.